Grab your popcorn, folks, because things just got incredibly heated on GB News. We all know the feeling. You're watching the news, sipping your Sunday morning coffee, and a politician comes on screen. They start reeling off a list of achievements that sounds absolutely wonderful, except it bears absolutely zero resemblance to the reality you see when you look out your window or check your bank balance. It's frustrating, it's maddening. Sometimes you just want to scream at the TV. Well, this Sunday, CAMILLA did the screaming for us. In a television moment that is already going viral for all the right reasons, the veteran broadcaster absolutely refused to let a Labour MP get away with the usual rehearsed soundbites. It was tense, it was awkward, and honestly, it was exactly the kind of accountability we've been crying out for. If you missed the clash between Tominey and Derby North MP Catherine Atkinson, don't worry. We are breaking down every wince-inducing second of it right here. The setup: rose-tinted glasses. It started innocently enough. Catherine Atkinson, the MP for Derby North, joined CAMILLA on her show to discuss the government's performance. Now, usually, these segments follow a predictable script. The presenter asks a question, and the politician pivots to their talking points. Atkinson seemed to be in high spirits, clearly ready to boast about her party's track record since taking the reins. "We saw wages go up more in 10 months than we saw in 10 years under the Conservatives," she beamed. She didn't stop there. The MP insisted that people are feeling better off thanks to falling inflation and Labour's economic strategies. She painted a picture of a booming Britain where everyone is breathing a sigh of relief. But here is the problem with painting a perfect picture. If there is a crack in the canvas, someone sharp is going to find it. And CAMILLA is nothing if not sharp. The reality check. While Atkinson was busy smiling about wage increases, CAMILLA was readying a verbal sledgehammer. She wasn't buying the sunshine and rainbows narrative, and she had the cold, hard data to prove why. In a move that seemed to physically wipe the smile off the MP's face, CAMILLA interrupted the flow of praise with a devastating question. Do you know what else has gone up with the minimum wage? Youth unemployment. Ouch. The studio air instantly shifted from a polite interview to a tense interrogation. CAMILLA wasn't speaking in generalities. She went straight for the jugular by focusing on Atkinson's own backyard. In Derby North, CAMILLA pressed, her voice steady but firm. You've witnessed a 15% rise in 18 to 24-year-olds claiming the dole. Let that sink in for a second. A 15% rise. That isn't a statistical error. That isn't a blip. That is a significant chunk of a generation in one constituency who are sitting at home, unable to find work, right at the start of their adult lives. Giving with one hand, taking with the other. CAMILLA's point was brilliant in its simplicity and devastating in its economic logic. She highlighted a painful trade-off that politicians rarely like to admit. Youth unemployment is up to record numbers after the minimum wage was put up, Tominey explained. So you're giving with one hand and taking away with another. It's a sentiment that resonates with so many business owners and workers right now. Sure, a higher minimum wage sounds fantastic on paper. We all want people to be paid fairly. But if that hike forces businesses to stop hiring, or specifically to stop hiring young, inexperienced staff because they can't afford the risk, have we actually helped anyone? CAMILLA was essentially asking, what is the point of a high wage if you can't get a job in the first place? The pivot, and why it didn't work. This is where things got really awkward. When faced with a specific, damaging statistic about their own constituency, most politicians will try to pivot. They try to change the subject to something safer. Atkinson tried to bat the question away. She started talking about long-term decisions and ensuring they are delivering for the electorate. For far too long, we had young people written off, and this government will not accept that, which is something I'm really proud of, Atkinson said, trying to regain her footing. She then went into a list of industries in Derby, mentioning that we make things like trains, planes, and submarines. She spoke about good, well-paid jobs and massive investments from companies like Rolls-Royce. It was a nice speech. It sounded patriotic and hopeful, but it didn't answer the question. Talking about submarines doesn't explain why 15% more young people are on the dole today. Talking about long-term decisions doesn't pay the bills for a 20-year-old who has been looking for work for 6 months. How on earth? CAMILLA was not about to let the trains and planes speech distract from the grim reality of the numbers. This is the moment that had viewers cheering at their screens. She cut in, polite but absolutely lethal. "Catherine Atkinson, I'm sorry. I've got to stop you there. I appreciate what you're trying to do." Then came the hammer blow. "You're a labor backbencher, but you cannot possibly say that you're investing more in young people when youth unemployment in your own constituency is up 15% in the last year." She laid out the numbers plain as day. Youth unemployment rose from 14.8% last year to 15.3%. And then, the line that summed up the sheer frustration of the entire interaction. "Okay, so labor has made youth employment go down. Unemployment is up. How on earth could you say that that is investing in young people?" The tension was palpable. You could practically hear the gears grinding as the MP tried to formulate a response. Camilla twisted the knife one final time with a comparison that surely haunts the Labour frontbench. "There's more people on the dole now than there was when the Tories were in power." For a Labour MP, whose party identity is built on being the champion of the working class and the protector of the vulnerable, being told that unemployment is worse under their watch than under the Conservatives is the ultimate indictment. The defense, impatient for change. To her credit, Ms. Atkinson didn't storm off the set. She stuck to her guns, emphasizing that she wants to see increased investment so young people can build lives and families. She pointed to specific wins. The £9 billion Rolls-Royce deal for nuclear reactors. Investment in small modular reactors. New deals for civil aviation. "We've got more jobs coming," she insisted. When Camilla doubled down, asking if this 15% increase was absolutely the Labour Party's fault, Atkinson offered a glimpse of vulnerability. "I'm impatient for change," she admitted. "I'm probably one of the least patient people you will ever find, and sometimes things can take time to turn around." She argued that tangible investment is happening, but it takes time to filter down into new apprenticeships and skills for the youth. Why this moment matters. Why do clips like this go viral? Why do we care about a Sunday morning debate about statistics in Derby? Because it represents a clash between political idealism and real life. On one side, you have the MP, armed with press releases, future promises, and big-picture optimism. On the other side, you have the journalist and the public, armed with the harsh reality of today's numbers. We are living in a time where we are constantly told that things are getting better. We are told inflation is down. We are told investment is up. We are told Britain is back. But when you walk down the high street and see for lease signs, or you talk to recent graduates who can't even get an interview for an entry-level job, that official narrative feels like gaslighting. Camilla Tominey stopping the MP and saying, "No, look at this number, explain this number," is cathartic. It validates the confusion and fear that many people feel. It reminds our elected officials that they can talk about nuclear submarines all they want, but if the kid down the street can't get a job, something isn't working. The verdict: whether you support Labour, the Conservatives, or neither, you have to appreciate a journalist who actually listens to the answer and challenges it, rather than just moving to the next question on the card. Ms. Atkinson may be right. Maybe these investments will pay off in 5 or 10 years. Maybe the submarines and planes will create a boom for Derby. We certainly hope so. But right now, the numbers don't lie. Youth unemployment is up. The dole queue is longer. And no amount of smiling or talking about successes can hide that fact. What do you think? Did Camilla go too hard, or was she right to hold the MP's feet to the fire? Is the job market in your area getting better or worse? Let us know in the comments.